Right, I haven't told Sienna yet the subject of this video, just kind of pinging this on here now. But we're just thinking about, we want to do a video showing the both of us because we're so very involved in the health and fitness industry, and we see people every single day and help them along on their journey. So we see the failures and the successes. But I want to sort of deviate that a little bit away and make it a little bit more about real life as well, because you know, health and fitness isn't just about what you eat and how you train.
Everything.
So one thing that I find that comes up all the time, because if you're in any kind of PT or anything like that, you'll find out pretty quick that you end up being an agony aunt and being into absolutely all of people's delves of life and helping them out with it. And Sienna and I have got such a strong relationship. We've got 2 children and one on the way. The differences of language between masculine and feminine. I've done that one on you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
do you want to start? You
I
go.
feel like there needs to be like, oh, we've got.
Enter children. Well.
Masculine, feminine language.
Masculine, feminine. Do you want to start? Or do you want me to start?
Oh, I don't know. Would you like to start?
That's the perfect place to start, right there. So, what I did right there was a great example. I'll speak for the masculine and Sienna speak for the feminine, and then we'll sort of cross over.
Can I just do like a little, I feel like you kind of always have to do this like disclaimer to begin with. We're not talking about men and women. It does so happen that a majority of women are predominantly feminine and the majority of men are predominantly masculine. But right now we're talking about language and feminine language versus masculine language.
Yeah, you can get women that are masculine at their core, and you get men that are masculine, you know, the other way around. But you wear masks in front of that. So if you're very masculine at your core and you're somewhat emasculated and wearing feminine mask, then you're not going to be that happy, and vice versa. Masculine language. If you've got 2 males, say for example, and they meet each other and they like each other, they go, right, okay, he's a good bloke, you know, I want to go out for a coffee or something like that, you know. So what the guy will say to the other guy is, yeah, where do you want to go? He goes, I don't mind, mate, where do you want to go? Because the biggest value for a man is freedom. So what a man does is they give, or masculine gives an element of their freedom, sacrifices, because that's one of their highest values as well. They sacrifice an element of their freedom and give it to the other one. So I will sacrifice what I want to do because I like you. I'll give you the choice. Now, don't get this mixed up. Masculinity is very good at making decisions. They give the choice to the other person because they like them. That's where the flip over is. So the masculine will pass over the choice to the feminine. The feminine isn't as good at making a decision. But the problem we've got today is there's so much pressure on females to run masculine roles. You know, like if you wanted to be a stay-at-home mother and you didn't want to work, I don't want a career, you're like, what are you, from the 50s? You see what I mean? Like,
do you know what? I just want to add in there as well. Like, I've also found that women are women's worst enemies more often than not. So I've found myself in situations sometimes purely if you're bringing a lot of feminine energy into a sort of space, sometimes from other women you're treated like either you're stupid or you're not powerful when you're just being and living in your feminine energy, which is like quite free, and feminine energy sort of flows like this, whereas masculine energy is very directional, straight, and get to the point. And so I have found before that you get a lot of women sort of cut you off, or people walk all over you, and so that's a really see. And then here I've done that in a feminine sort of way, come just around to
and force you into your masculine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Masculinity takes something big and makes it small. Like build a business, make it small. So no matter who you are, if you want to build a business, if you're trying to build a business while being super feminine, you're never going to get anything done. So even super feminine people will take masculine energy to get things done. You know, right, I need to do this, got their list, and they get things done. But feminine energy takes something small and makes it big. So, for example, the smell of a flower becomes like a magical poem or a dance.
Yes.
Like a guy cannot understand, or a masculine, let's just say male and female because it's so easy to say, a masculine male cannot understand how feminine female finds a flower so interesting. But guys, here's a little tip, you don't ever need to figure it out because there's some things you realise that you never understand. And just understand that we work with results. And we like to experience that freedom. You can experience it through your woman. So if you give her those flowers, just know my result is to make her feel great and watch her light up from the flowers. So it doesn't matter if you understand why it makes her feel good, just know that it does and just do it.
Just touching back on, we all have both energy. Obviously, if you think of like a yin and yang symbol, and I've spoken about this before, where you've got the masculine within the feminine and the feminine within the masculine. So for me, like a personal example for myself, and I know that boundaries, previously I was really bad with boundaries. So feminine energy, there is no hierarchy. If you think of feminine energy as like a circle of women all sitting and talking together over the top of each other and things like that, whereas masculine energy, it's like a triangle, there's always a hierarchy. So for me, in my own personal experiences in work, with boundaries and, you know, people wanting to book appointments when there's absolutely no time left, or, you know, because you've got time for organisation or preparing for a client coming in for a one-on-one, things like that. But because you see that there is that space where you're not physically meeting with someone and you've got someone on the phone saying they really want to come in for that, it's like, oh, okay, sure, like get them in, put them in, pop them in there. It's because there's that no hierarchy, everyone's sort of equal and you want to do everything for each other. Whereas I have worked really, really hard at implementing that or strengthening that masculine energy within me of saying, no, there is no time available here, we can do it. And I know that might seem like such a petty thing, but that has made a huge difference to me and in my work life, as well as being able to have those boundaries as well. And also, I mean, especially in our roles when we're coaching people, and someone brings up an excuse, and I've modeled this from you, you're really amazing at calling people out of their excuses, and you have to be mindful that in our roles as you know, accountability coaches and health coaches is to help people.
Yeah.
So you have to call people out on their bullshit when it is blatantly obviously there. We're very understanding, we're real people, we understand about life, but if someone's like, the comment, have you stuck with your meal plan, or have you stuck with the commitment you made to yourself of 4 training sessions a week? And you see that, no, but I had family up, or I had this or that.
Yeah.
The common excuses that we hear time and time again, normally or previously, I would have been like, oh, okay. And there's a part of me that's like, fuck, no, pull them up, like let them know that. Whereas now it's so easy because that masculine, you know, just like a muscle or these like neurological pathways, that feminine energy has had a good like workout within me. Masculine. So I can go, is that the case? Could you have tried better? Could we have done this? So I found ways of
to switch between.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But the big thing now is toning that masculine energy down when I come back from work, when I come back home, because that masculine energy that is required in the workforce does not serve me at home. It doesn't, I'm not a mother and a lover when I come home bringing that masculine energy. And I know, like, I can see a lot of issues like, women, please stop bagging your man out. He's just, more often than not, he's just trying to make you happy. And when you're coming home with this ballsy masculine energy, the CEO of your house, and telling people to do this.
Well, let me touch on that. So, with where I said about guys find it very easy to make decisions when they're on their own or with other men. It's very bang, bang, bang. It just works. But when they like someone, they said like a friend, like a girl, anything like that, they give away their choice. Not because they can't make the choice. The problem is this femininity can't make the choices efficiently. So when they see a man go, oh, no mind, where do you want to go? They see it as he can't make the choice because obviously they judge it off themselves. Yeah. And so then they're forced into the role of having to make the decision. Okay, they don't see it as like, oh, he's giving me the choice. They see it, oh, he can't make his mind up. And over time, this is the problem, is because there's pressures on women to be much more masculine. but there's also pressures on men that if you make a decision, you're misogynist.
Yeah.
You know, so I say to women all the time, like, how would you feel if your husband, if your partner, someone that you know in your intimate relationship with said, I bought you a new dress, it's on the bed, be ready by 8 o'clock, I'm taking you out tonight. Like, and 100% of the time when I speak to a feminine woman, they're like, oh my God, that'd be amazing, because now the choice is taken out of it, they have that protection, now they're free to be feminine. But the problem is men are taught these days that by saying that, you're a misogynist and you're taking away her choice and disempowering her. Yeah. But it is not true. And I'm not saying make choices for her. I'm saying that I'm chucking myself out here on a limb with this sort of this one. And excuse the analogy, but it really makes sense to people. Imagine you're taking your dog for a walk.
It's okay.
Isn't going to work?
It's okay.
So imagine you're taking your dog for a walk. And you're walking down the neighbourhood and this dog on the end of the lead is just barking at every other dog in the neighbourhood. It's barking because it knows the person holding the lead at the top is not the alpha. And so the dog's forced into a position where that's not the alpha, I don't want to be, I'm scared, and so the best form of defence is attack. And you've got another dog walking down the neighbourhood, all he does is dogs barking at, they don't care because they know something happens, that's the alpha, so it's free to be a dog. So when femininity has that protection, an ability to be free to be feminine, that's when it really comes out, and that's what lights the man up, seeing true femininity, and it really rolls together, because male and female are amazing creatures that are made differently. I know everything right now, we're all the same and all that, totally, no. We're made so different, but we work so well together. Yeah. When we work together, yeah. Like when we're not trying to tread over each other, and that's where we weren't actually going to say this in this video, but like Sienna, when we first got together, I'm from England, we love banter. When I first met Sienna, just banter, and like with my ex-girlfriend, like we used to have hits at each other all the time, as in like I'd take the mick out of her. Basically, if you walk down the road with your partner, and if she fell over in a way, or slipped up the stairs and like dropped her food on the floor, it'd be an opportunity to laugh and take a photo and take the piss out of her. Which is not good. When I met Sienna, it actually took a little bit of training for me to go, hold the banter back. I thought, I can't not banter, that's not fun. But 100% it's poison in a relationship. I know I could fully wipe out and make a dick of myself, and Sienna would be on my side no matter what. Everyone could laugh at me and she'd be there, make sure I'm alright, and just be there with me. And that is so empowering both ways. Because we're on each other's team 100%. There's no waiting for the other person to fall over and go, ha! Because it's like chipping away, right?
Totally.
You keep chipping away.
It's also building up the reticular activator. Yeah?
Right, yeah.
So if any of you have done our workshops before and you do that whole activity where it's like, look around the room, close your eyes, everything that was red in the room.
Well, a good way of saying it is if you buy a new car, you suddenly see that same car everywhere. That car was still there before, but now there's a part of your brain called the reticular activator that recognises things that's relevant to you and deletes other things. Yeah. So that car was always there, but as soon as you bought that car, it became part of your personal experience, and now you notice it because it's relevant to you.
Pregnant people. I see pregnant women everywhere now. So I've always believed that you are trained within a relationship. If banter is a really important thing for you, or making fun of each other, you are training yourself and your partner is training themselves to pick up on all the bad shit, all the funny things, and that is not good. You know, if you woke up in the morning, had a massive pimple on your face, and your partner, the first thing is, oh my God, you look like Rudolph, or making some sort of ridiculous joke. They are being trained to pick up on all the bad stuff. And then you are also feeling less and less like you can be vulnerable with them because there's that fear of being anxious. So basically, don't make fun of your partner. Banter is not a cool thing, and it is detrimental to a relationship. So please stop.
And both ways that is, because A, it could be emasculating for the man, and also B, for the guys, don't take the piss out of your woman purely because femininity has to have an element of vulnerability to really open up. Right, so like people, for some weird messed up reason, right now people see as there's masculinity and there's femininity. It's the other way around. The biggest trumper is femininity. Femininity is, in my opinion, the most powerful force over masculinity. So here's the reason why. Masculinity is very blocked off. It's great at getting things done, but it's very single direction, and it kind of misses a lot, right? So a good example of that would be like, say if you're hunting, and you have to focus on something, and you have to block all the sounds and noises in the wind, you have to focus just on this, I can't have a conversation while having this. So that's why our brains have been proven, scientifically proven, that if a man multitasks, it's different than a female. Because if a female multitasks, she can literally, some of the crazy stuff I've ever seen when a woman's typing and talking and doing stuff at the same time, just like, man cannot do that. You can't do that. Man would have to type, hang on a minute, type, stop, listen. But this is also where like the languages get cut off. Men think women aren't listening and get pissed off when she's doing stuff at the same time. Oh, she doesn't even listen to me, so don't bother. And women speak to a guy while he's doing something, think he's listening, he can't. He hasn't, but the guy should go, hang on guys, let's just stop a second, let me just finish. Boom, because we have to get things done, right? So going back, anyway, when a guy get emasculated, then he's going to take that step back. And when he takes that step back, usually because he wants to give the choice to the woman now goes, oh shit, well he can't make a choice. So she's forced the masculine role, but then funnily enough, he starts to feel emasculated. Yeah. And that's how the polarity drops out. Is now the man's feeling emasculated, so he starts spending more time at work or spending more time with his friends. And the woman's like, Jesus, he doesn't do anything. I have to make all the decisions, and I cook and I look after the kids. And that's how it starts going do. And it's funny.
Or shutting himself in a room, like watching TV, like watching.
Or just get away from the situation because it's significant at work. The guy can like smash it at work and just like have everyone respect him, come home with zero respect, you know. Yeah. But it's just how it's gone incrementally, because I find that with partners, what they do in the beginning of a relationship, what would you do? You do anything for your partner, right? This is a Tony Robbins quote. Do anything for your partner. If your partner said, take out the trash, you'd be like, take out the trash, right? But 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 6 months, a year, however long it takes, 6 years, somewhere along the line, suddenly it becomes, they're standing there doing the dishes, man or woman going, what have they done for me? And that's become a trade. Because at the beginning, you would do anything to light your partner up, and they'd feel amazing. If your partner's done something selfless for you and you feel great, what do you want to do? Yeah. You want to reciprocate. But at some point, if it turns to what have they done for me, it becomes a trade-off. This is where it goes wrong. The thing is though, if you went back to the beginning, like if you're listening to this and go, oh shit, I do that, and I'm speaking to a guy here, go get her flowers, organise a date night, whatever you got to do, and just come back, or get in your mind, what can I do tonight that's completely selfless that will make her feel great? And it doesn't always need to be big, extravagant things like I bought you this. Just even coming back, making a cup of tea. Sitting down, just spending time, because there's those love languages that everyone's got different. Like, what is it? It's spending time with someone. It's touch. It's talking, gifts, words, and gifts. So, for an example of that,
acts of service.
An acts of service. Yeah. So, example of that, some people feel love when they get a gift given to them, right? So they go like, keep buying you flowers, and then she's like her love language is time. She's like, keeps giving me stuff. All I want to do is spend time with me.
I was just about to say, don't confuse your giving as giving your love language. Make the effort to understand what theirs is, or ask them. Like, just say, if you're in a bad place, or a mild place, or a place where you just want to make your relationship better, sit down together and have a look at love languages, because love is the most important thing. Love makes the world go round.
It's what we did when we first found out. When we found out love language, sat down and go, right, how do you receive your love? And you think about it, and then you might even be surprised, go, oh shit. Because often people give their love in the way they would want to receive it.
That's what I was saying. Don't get confused with that, because you will forever be trying to light them up and please them. Say, for example, yours is gifts. So a lot of people give gifts thinking, oh, this will light them up. Gift after gift after gift. And then they're going, what the fuck is with all these gifts? Like, I don't need to be bought, or I'm not into these gifts, or I don't like this gift, or things like that.
Just want to be touched.
Yeah.
I was pulled in to dance. I mean, what I do yesterday, just after work.
Oh, play me a song.
Just as simple as that. Like, I wanted to make her feel good, light her up, and have that connection, because I think unanimously everyone knows that if you're in a relationship and you feel really connected, the whole world could be falling apart around you and you don't care. But you could be smashing it, but then you haven't got that connection with your partner or your wife, and it doesn't matter, like the world's shit. So I just put one of our songs on the music while I was shutting up the gym through the speakers. So I knew she was in reception, she'd hear it, came in, we just had a little slow dance. And it's nice, it gains that connection, it lets her know that she's loved. Lets her know that she's loved. I feel good, I've let her feel my love and my protection, and it perpetuates that. And is that going to put her in a masculine state or let her slip more into a feminine state?
And I think as well is that people don't believe their relationship can be like the honeymoon period, right? People don't believe that they can go back to that, or people believe that the honeymoon period is only temporary, it won't last long. I have, I think ever since a teenager, from maybe thinking when you start to daydream about what you want your marriage to be like, or what you want your relationship to be like, I have always wanted it to be miraculous forever. I've always seen beautiful pictures of like old couples holding hands or embracing each other, and I have wanted that for myself. And so obviously then I believe that that's possible, because it totally is possible. So I am going to do everything in my power to make that possible. Whereas if I believe that, the honeymoon period is only like, what's the first 6 months of the relationship and then everything goes downhill. I don't believe that's the case at all. And I mean, Matt and I work together every single day.
And if you're thinking right now, who the hell are these guys? They've probably been together 5 minutes. We've been together 7 years. We're married. We've got 2 children. Our oldest one's nearly 6 and one on the way. And we've built a business amongst all of this. And moved house several times. So we've done all the most stressful things together. We've gone through family deaths and all this kind of stuff. So we're seasoned. We're not like 6 months into a relationship. The hell does that sound?
I don't know. That's what I was like, back onto the like masculine and feminine thing, where I was talking about that masculine energy 100% serves me at work. It helps to keep me safe, obviously, like being in customer service too. And when like people would come in, another example, and say, oh, could you do discounts for couples? A small family run business, especially after we just shut down for a couple of months, like we can't afford to be doing that. But had I not been able to embrace masculine energy, I'd probably be sat there going, well, maybe, and like wanting
and
to.
guys right now that are watching this going, what the hell? You don't need to understand that, all right? Because that's something that you would do without thinking. You'd be like, what? How's that even a thing? You've got to realise how different that we are. I went to a seminar once, and the guy taking the seminar goes, right, women, they said, men, put your hands up if you've been in fear of your life or your safety in the last 2 weeks. And there was like no hands. There was like one hand in the entire audience of like 10,000 people, whatever it was. It was ridiculous. Like, no hands. Looking around, right, okay, could ego be involved in there? Whatever. But like for me, I can't remember the last time I felt scared for my safety or my life, right? And then he goes, ladies only, raise your hand if you've been in fear of your life or your safety the last 2 weeks. And I couldn't believe it, nearly every hand was up.
Yeah.
And my jaw hit the ground, because I'd never thought of it. And this is stuff that needs to get out there. Because if it's 2 a.m. and you live in a high-rise building, your car's out in the car park, and a guy suddenly goes, oh shit, left my phone in the car, what do? You go out and you get your phone. Don't think about it. If you're a woman, what do?
Hell no.
Wait till the morning. Most of them, some women go, no, I'd get out, you're very masculine, you're probably masculine, and you're cool, because this doesn't go to everyone. We say the majority.
Yeah.
Right?
Or projecting masculine energy.
Which you see more than anything.
Yeah.
More than anything.
But that's what I was just touching on, obviously, that masculinity doesn't serve me.
Can I just say about that, just what I got in my head?
Yeah.
So I used to do like mindset sessions with people, and there was this lady that came in once, and she, obviously won't disclose any names or anything like that, but she's very, very, very masculine. And she was frustrated because she couldn't get a job. This is how it started. This one said couldn't get a job. I'm like, well, how true is that? And so it's not actually true. Anyway, I'm going to fast forward this really fast. So turns out, I went down there and they didn't reply to my email. It was super, lots of baggage. You can see it's written all over her. There's a lot of stuff. Anyway, through this time we worked through, and I found out, very sensitive subject, that basically she was in a very abusive family where her stepfather was abusing her and her little sister. So it served her at the time to be this masculine bitch type, so that she could keep him away from her and protect her little sister. But the problem is that program's still running as an older lady, and now it's keeping everyone away from her. So sometimes we're running programs that served us back in the day but don't now, like the first mobile phone you ever had with a suitcase and a handle. You know, like if you carried that around for 30 years, it's time for an upgrade, you're starting to get a sore neck. So you have to go, at what point did I choose to be this? And you did get to choose, but subconsciously and emotionally, not purposefully and not consciously. And you can change it. So I had to chuck that in because we were just saying about like masculine mass. So this lady, so this was all holding on to her. And when, like, I used some techniques to get the brace, going to get joined in by her femininity, everything changes. Because everyone could see that, like, it's prominent in certain cultures where they push that, she'll be alright, mate. You know, it's terrible over here with like the whole, cannot show any vulnerability, but everyone knows they've got vulnerability. And it's terrible with guys, especially terrible guys, that the suicide rate is going through the roof because the pressure's put on not to talk or you're a princess. You know, that is not true masculinity. True masculinity as well can drop into femininity. You need it. You need it. You cannot connect with your woman being just masculine. You can create a masculine surrounding, but if I'm like that, right, what do you want to do? Like, I want to do this. And, you know, you can't do that. You have to be masculine, project all that around, but then drop into your feminine to be soft to connect, right? Because femininity connects. So if you've got a relationship that's really shallow, or you haven't got any connection with your woman, like you're either projecting fake masculinity or you're overly masculine, you're not in touch with your femininity. Like my father was. He was just masculine, didn't have the femininity, never made that connection, you know? So it works both ways. If one or the other just walks around with just that energy, it's going to be a disaster. But what is your predominant energy at your core? Are you predominantly masculine? And you've got a feminine mask on and you don't feel masculine and it's driving you nuts and you just want to go out and roar somewhere and chuck on some armour and smash a sword into it. If you feel like that, you've got to go do something, bring your masculinity out. Or if you're going around being the hard ass whoever, like mover and shaking, like shit, all I want to do is calm down, relax and smell the roses, so to speak, then you have to start embracing that and going, I conflict between them, but I have to be predominantly at my core true to who I actually am. And take two, battery cut out.
So where was I going with that? Two really good questions that you can ask yourself from day to day is one, what energy am I in? Yeah, because obviously you ask and you'll get the answer. And two, does this energy serve me right now? Obviously, as I was saying before, that masculine energy that I need as a business owner at the gym, there's marbles going everywhere, doesn't serve me at home. So if I got home, what energy am I in? Masculine. Does it serve me right now? Hell no. So drop back into that, and I find those questions are amazing triggers for, oh shit, yeah, I don't need that masculine energy. I can drop that down now and be mother and lover and the nurturer of the house instead of carrying around doing housework and feeding little babies and stuff like that. Not babies, children. With that masculine energy. And then again, if I get back to work and things getting tough, I'm feeling super emotional, what energy am I in? Does it serve me right now? And then change that. And because like men can do that as well, predominantly whichever energy, and that can just really help you, because obviously as a man, if you're trying to connect with your woman and you're like, I don't like what's going on, like we're not connecting right now, you might need to think of a more like feminine way of opening up.
A spin on that is, guys, if we are pissed off or upset, it's because we have a problem we need to solve or someone's done us wrong. You have to realise that femininity doesn't always want to solve the problem. Very rarely wants to solve the problem. Wants to talk about the problem. We do not understand. If you've got a problem, why wouldn't you just fix it? Here's the problem, let's fix it. But that's how masculinity works. If you try and fix her problem, she'll probably just get more pissed off. Don't try and fix her problem. Realise that I know it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to us, and it never will. But talk to her about a problem and just relate and say, I understand and I'm here with you. A good analogy that I heard about masculine femininity, one of the best ones, is imagine femininity is a huge storm that's going tearing things up. You have to be the oak tree that just stands there, and when the storm blows out, she needs to know that when the storm is fizzled out, you'll still be there. And that's the way to help in those moments. As I said, you don't have to understand why it's done like this, because I honestly, I can give you the answer. I don't think they can either. Can you?
Just talking about it just makes it better. I always just need a cuddle.
Yeah. Cuddles. Do you want to come in? Come on then. Oh, look. She's gone up and got changed. Perfect example of femininity. Come here. Stand up here. Is that a beautiful dress? Why did you choose this dress?
Because I just like it.
Okay, why do you like it?
Because I just do.
Because you do.
Yeah,
Right, okay. Do you want to say, oh, you've got a sticker on it. Do you want to wave at the camera and go, bye guys?
Bye guys. Bye guys.